Hey, what's up? So the principal photography for Bad Boys 4 is done. This was according, and this is 5th March of 2024. If you're watching this in the future. So Will Smith announced it on his Instagram page. He had a few screenshots from the production. He had a few photos with Martin Lawrence. He had some a look at what was happening behind the scenes. We have the Porsche is back as usual. The DNA of all Bad Boys movie, I think, is Porsche, which has been maintained throughout the movies. But unlike Porsche, the third movie lacked a bit of the first two movies' DNA, and this is why I'm actually making this video, because I feel that with Bad Boys 3, there's something that people don't want to talk about, or I feel that I'm not talking about, or people are not talking about, because the first two movies, when it comes to rewatchability factor and entertainment factor, they're way up there. You know why? Because it's Michael Bay mayhem. Explosions, crazy car chases, very epic framing of the main characters, and usual the chemistry between the two. And that's the reason I'm actually looking forward to this coming movie, this fall in installation. I know that the chemistry is going to be on point, but as we saw in the last movie, whereby they chose to sacrifice the action set pieces for story, and I felt that by doing that, something was lost, and that is the rewatchability factor. As I was saying, the first two movies are so rewatchable because of just the mayhem in the movies, the crazy explosions, the over-the-top action. The third movie lacked that, but it had a very, very good story. It had a very good twist. And the thing is, with the twist, after you understand the twist and after you have the knowledge, once you go back to the movie, there's nothing much to it, It doesn't have those insane action moments. Yes, it has the looks, but it doesn't have those insane over-the-top action set pieces. Yes, it's gripping in terms of whatever happens to Mike Larry's character, but it just doesn't have those action set pieces that would make you, if you saw it on Netflix, want to go back and watch it. And that's why today I want us to talk about the three things that I'm worried about with the film. And I'll start talking about what I'm excited about. Number one is the two main characters are back, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Their chemistry is it's something that you always look forward to, because they come from, I think they are literally brothers, I believe, because they've worked together for so long. They've played the roles for so long that everything just comes out natural, and it's easier for them to actually just get back into character. Will Smith has been very particular about the project that he's picking currently, and he's a producer in this particular film. So I feel like, we're going to get a very good story. I'm not really sure about the action, but we are really going to get a good story. He is currently not just jumping into any project. And one thing that makes this particular project unique is that it does not come, it's not coming out 10 years after, the previous movie. If you remember, the first movie came out in the 90s, the other one came out in the early 2000s. The third one came out in the I think it was 2020, and this is coming only 2 years after that. So they must have something good, they must have something that works. The other thing, they're using the cinematographer who actually worked on most of the Fast Furious movies. So I know they've actually nailed the look, and I get the feeling that we are going to have a few intense, car chases, because this is the kind of cinematographer who has worked on he worked on the fifth one, he worked on the last one, Fast X, he worked on the 8th one. And so if you watch those movies, you know how intense the action set pieces look, and I think there's a reason that they went with him for this particular movie. Now, what makes me worried about this movie? Number one, as I said, it lacks the DNA of Michael Bay. It lacks the insanity that came with the first two movies. Yes, we may get a very good cinematic experience, but these movies eventually come on streaming. And when they come on streaming, I always find myself going for the first two movies rather than the third one, because the first two movies are just insane. I can actually just sit down and get entertained. It has nothing to do with the story. It's just all explosion. It's all gun work. I know the critics will be happy if if they make another movie that feels like a third movie. But the critics are not the ordinary people who sit down on a Sunday to watch something on Netflix or on any other streaming service. The critics is just a small group of people, and they don't actually represent the majority of the people. The majority of the people, including myself, what the critics think that the first movies were, lacked a good story, and it was just action first. It was just action first. I prefer that. I just want to see a good action movie, from the Bad Boys. I want something that is closer to the first two movies rather than this third movie. While the third movie had a good story, I felt that it was lacking in terms of action. Number two, the directors. We have the same directors who directed the previous one, Adil El Abir and Bilal Fallah. They were awesome. I thought they did a great job imitating that Michael Bay look, but I didn't see their voice in the film. I believe that they also directed Miss Marvel episode 1 and 2, the show, and you could see their signature in that particular movie. There was something about that particular movie that you could actually tell that this was directed by particular directors who had a particular style. But in the third Bad Boys movie, I did not see their signature. I don't feel their influence on the product. I did not go like those are those particular guys from the Miss Marvel movies. They had no distinct characteristic about their production style that stood out in the film. So once you go into Bad Boys, most of us are going in because of the actors, not the directors. And for me, that is a concern, because it means that the movie possibly is driven more by the producers than the actors. It's not heavily influenced by the directors. It's the producers and the script and the screenplay. Those are the elements that are driving the story rather than a director's vision. I don't know if I'm making sense. Like, for example, if you hear of Dune and you hear Denis Villeneuve associated with the film as the director, you know what you're going to get because of the director. So with this, based on the last movie that I got, I feel that I'm going to also get another toned down version of Michael Bay that it doesn't have its own identity. It has more of the previous identity, toned down, but remains, constant without introducing anything new. The last thing is Joe Pantoliano as Captain Howard, Conrad Howard. If you've not watched the third Bad Boys movie, something happens to him, and that means that we may possibly not see him in this particular film. And I thought, as much as the first two movies were about the Martin Lawrence and Will Smith and the crazy action set pieces, he played a pivotal role in that. In the previous two movies, he was the realistic representation of accountability, because he was the only character in the movie he kept reminding these people of what they were doing. He was like a father figure, and I know it's established in the third movie, but they did something that they tried to do something in that movie that felt, for me, it's like they're playing safe. They're trying to align with the modern society. They're trying to create a movie that gets rid of particular characters in order to accommodate other characters. They could have brought in the new character that they brought in without having to kill that particular character. Spoiler alert. And for me, it feels more disjointed because the new character is, they're like on the same level. They're like on the same age level. I can't believe that these two people can take orders from that kind of a person. If it was that particular character, Captain Conrad Howard, it would have been more easier for me to believe that they were answering to this particular individual, because we've grown to watch the three of them grow together in the previous two movies. We've seen the three of them actually literally grow, and the relationship has become stronger over time. So the decision to actually do something to him kill him in the previous movie, was one of the things that I actually did not like about that movie. I liked that character. He was the most sane character in the movie, in terms of just reminding the two of them of what they were doing in terms of causing trouble for the group in general. And it was that voice of reason in the movie. And in 3, After whatever happens to him happened, I just felt like that's where Bad Boys for me ended. You know, that was the end, because it was the end of um, fatherhood, in terms of reckless kids having to deal with a father, someone that they can actually answer to. Now we'll have a more unhinged group. You know, despite the fact that we have this new character, I don't feel that I can buy this character, because we don't have a relationship that has been established with this new character. You know, with them, she's a peer. Actually, she's a peer. If you look at them, she's a peer. And all these other people that were brought in the previous movie are more of Boy Scouts. You know, and I don't think that they did something smart with that. I hope that they're going to do it with this particular movie. I hope that they're going to try to, you know, not just give us a version of Conrad. Anyway, those are some of my fears, but I believe that they have something good. I believe that they just didn't jump into it. I believe that this is not based on the success of the previous one, because if it's based on success, they'll double down on some ideas that they introduced in that film that we did not like. It's good to lean on story, and filmmaking is story, but at the end of the day, it's also escapism. You know, you want to be entertained, and in the world of streaming, those insane Michael Bay movies actually kind of make sense. I love Bad Boys 1 and 2, and I always tend to go back to them, even when they stream. Okay, with 3, I've had to actually put it on when I'm doing some other things, because sometimes I felt that outside the twist, there's just nothing else to look forward to. You know, with the second movie, it has like 4 insane standalone action set pieces. You know, you say that I'm going to put this on and do something else. An action set piece pops up, and you're like, oh, that was kind of awesome. You try to go back, then another action set piece draws you in. Then another action set piece actually draws you in. It keeps just drawing you in with the insane action, drawing you in with the insane dialogue. I hope that they are going to do that in this 4th movie. I hope that they are not going to play safe, because to be honest, the 3rd movie feels safer. It's a very safe Bad Boys movie. There is no effort to push, the envelope in terms of action, because that for me is entertainment. You can have a good story, but if I'm to rewatch this on streaming, I just need good action. And this is post John Wick, so the pressure is on. So basically, that's it. Those were my thoughts on the movies. The thoughts were triggered by what Will Smith actually shared. Some scenes look good, but wow, I just can't wait to see this movie. If it's Will Smith, it's Martin Lawrence, we have a good cinematographer, and I'm sure that they have a good script. So basically, that's it. Remember to always watch what you enjoy and enjoy what you watch. I shall see you on the next one, and I can't wait. This movie is coming out on 7th June this year, and they've finished the principal photography, so that means that they have April, May. Wow, they have like 3 months to actually complete the post-production, which says a lot. But anyway, we'll wait and see the movie. And basically, that's it. Thanks for watching, and subscribe so that I can see you on the next one, or you can see me on the next one. Thanks for watching.